Hey guys, welcome back to drumlessonland.com. I'm Mark, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the principles of how to get good sound out of your drums. You don't need expensive gear to get a good sound. You don't even need much tuning knowledge either. While these things help, good sound really comes from your head, from your ears, and from your hands, your technique. By technique, I simply mean that you spent the time practicing getting the sounds that you hear in your head out of your drums, whether it's by controlling where on the surface of the drum you hit, or how hard. Take this snare drum for example. I haven't changed the head on it in years. It's just a simple single-ply coated head, which by the way I have on all my drums. But I can get tons of different sounds out of it by hitting it in different ways. Using a bit of moon gel for muffling, I can hit a rim shot, which is where you hit the rim and the skin at the same time. This creates a loud, really cracking pop sound. Which is awesome for playing backbeats in a live situation. You can hit it right in the center, which is good for playing backbeats in a recording situation or for playing drum rolls or drum fills because it gives you a very dry, very controlled sound. You can even try playing a rim shot using just the very tip of your stick at the very edge of the drum. This is going to give you a very high-pitched rim shot. Also, a balanced volume is very important in drum sound. It's important to know how to mix the various instruments of the drum kit in relation to each other. Now this is primarily your job as a player and not a sound man's job. For example, I see a lot of beginners doing something like this. Because their right hand is their strong hand, they'll be playing the hi-hats very loudly and just tapping out the backbeats on the snare drum. It doesn't sound so nice, right? Well, if you ease up on the hi-hats a bit and put a bit more emphasis on the backbeat, it's going to sound a lot more professional. Take a drum fill, for example. The snare drum is a loud, cutting instrument, whereas the toms and the bass drum are lower pitched and tend to get lost in the mix a lot easier. So when you're playing a fill using these three instruments, toms, snare drum, and bass drum, try to play your snare drum a little bit quieter and bring up the toms and the bass drum to achieve a more balanced sound. Tuning is another very important part of drum sound, and it can get as complex as you want it to be. There are tons of books and websites and articles all talking about tuning, and it can get very complicated and scientific. But again, it doesn't have to be. For a good snare drum sound, personally, I just crank it up moderately high. Not so high that it's choked, but high enough that I can get a good crack out of the rim shot. And I do it by feel. I do it so every lug feels about the same. Now this is not very accurate, I'm telling you now. But it's good to practice on drums that are not tuned perfectly, because most drums that you play on won't be, and most drum sets that you use won't be your drum set. Then I usually put some of this moon gel, or if I don't have any of that, I just put my wallet, and you've got a pretty good, usable drum sound. Also, if you're playing rock, you can tune your drum really, really low, leave the wallet on there, and play right in the center, and you're going to get a very fat, meaty sound. So again, most of these things rely on your technique, hitting it right in the center, hitting the rim shot to get that good crack. It all comes down to practicing these techniques, practicing getting the sounds that you hear. And there's actually probably a million different ways to get a good rim shot sound or a good, center of the drum sound. There's no special grip, there's no special wrist stroke. It's just personal experimentation. You find the way to get the sound, and you keep doing that. You practice that. As for the kick and the toms, it's pretty simple as well. For rock, I tune them very low, almost to the point of wrinkling, but just before that. So they have a low, thuddy, deep, low-end sound. For jazz, I tune them way up high, almost to the point of choking, but not quite. I know it sounds way too easy and almost stupid, but you can get awesome sounds from an imperfectly tuned kit. The goal is not to have to rely on your equipment. Also, you could practice this at any level, from beginner to expert. You spend 15 to 20 minutes a day just working on getting consistent sounds, whether it's rim shots, whether it's the balance of your overall kit, hi-hat strokes, center of the drum, anything, whatever. 15 to 20 minutes a day, I guarantee you'll see improvement in your sound and your confidence. And by confidence, I mean the confidence that you have on playing other people's drum sets in no time at all, no matter what stage you're at. Thanks for checking this out, and I'll see you guys next time.